the LA Lakers, Jennifer. They have slipped and fell all the way down to 7, but Anthony Davis did look good last night against Portland. You want to see that matchup? I know it's great for business for everybody here at NBC, but do you really want to see the Lakers and Warriors?
Yeah, I mean, I think this has been such an interesting season, full of, kind of the unexpected, and, this would be just, I think, a great matchup, and it'd be fun for the Warriors, I think, to face the Lakers.
Why not, Bonte?
Why not?
Why not, man? Let's see it. And I read a funny tweet this morning. It had to be a Warriors fan. They were just saying, hey, remember when y'all was talking about worry about getting in the play-in game?
That's right.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny for somebody to take a jab at the Lakers like that. But I would love to see it, see that energy and just to see the competitiveness come out of these great players. So I don't mind.
SoCal-NorCal rivalry, Staples Center. We know what happened at Staples Center on Martin Luther King Jr. night. Warriors came back from big-time deficit and stole it. So the fans will love it. Why not? Lakers, Warriors, we'll see what's happening. Like you said, Darrell, be careful what you wish for, LA Laker fans. But look, the Warriors plan, this was the big news yesterday, plan to convert JTA's contract into a standard NBA contract and will sign former Warriors big man Jordan Bell into the vacant two-way slot. A league source confirmed to NBC Sports Bay Area's Monty Poole yesterday. The Athletics' Shams Charania and Anthony Slater first reported the news. JTA has been a vital part of the Warriors' rotation this season. And since returning from a scary fall in Boston that left him concussed, JTA hasn't played fewer than 20 minutes in a Warriors game. He joined Monty Poole earlier this season on Racing America to talk about adding Toscano to the back of his jersey.
You grew up obviously in Oakland, went to high school, Castro Valley High. You were known then as Juan Anderson. And later you added the Toscano-Anderson. Take us through that process, just mentally, why were you Juan Anderson? And then at what point did you decide, I'm going to, do it all?
Juan Toscano-Anderson is my full name on my birth certificate. And when I was a little kid, first day of school, they're calling roll, present, and stuff like that. And a lot of teachers would think Toscano was like my first name, or they would get confused. So I just honestly started just going by Juan Anderson. And then when I got to high school and basketball kind of like really propelled my notoriety, it was just easier to just use Juan Anderson. It was easier to put on a jersey, and that's just kind of what I went with. And also in college. But then after college, I went to play pro in Mexico. And so how I got my dual citizenship was through my mother, which is Toscano, last name Toscano. So that's what I had to wear on my jersey. For those who know my story, they know that Mexico was like a revival to my career. It gave me a place to play and showcase my talents. If I didn't get that dual citizenship, I don't know if I would have been able to play or, even be here in the NBA now today, 6 years later.
Let's bring in Monty Poole, powered by Cisco WebEx, our Warriors insider here at NBC Sports Bay Area, and the perseverance of Juan T. You saw the highlights there, Monty, and good evening to you. I mean, first of all, I think a lot of people are happy that he's being rewarded with an NBA contract here. The 22-hour bus rides in Mexico, the journey to get to this point, and it couldn't happen to a better person because he does rep East Oakland to the fullest. But Juan T has become a fan favorite and one of the favorites on the team as well.
No doubt about it. I mean, you think about this kid's journey, man. He grew up on 95th Avenue in East Oakland, which is like a 15, 20-minute walk from Oracle Arena. He grew up as a young teenager watching the We Believe Warriors. He was a huge fan of that team. Goes off to Castro Valley High and is a star there, gets to Marquette and plays occasionally, then starts playing more often, goes undrafted in 2015. And now you look at where he is now and you say, wait a minute, hold on. This guy went to Mexico, South America. He's put all over the map. And he comes to the Warriors, the G League tryout, and then he had the Exhibit 10. He's had every possible contract you can get to until next week when he'll get the final official NBA contract. He's had Exhibit 10. He's had the 10-day. He's the two-way. So he deserves it, man. This dude has been their most valuable reserve this season.
Monty, the box score and the stat line won't tell you the true story about Juan T. We'll preview some plays a little bit later in the show about Juan T. Remember to play in Boston, jumping over the scorer's table. It's like, man, this dude is desperate to be on an NBA team. But moving forward, How does he fit with this team moving forward once this team wants to get back into contention for not only just playoff bursts, but an NBA championship? It feels like Juan T could have a nice role on this team moving forward.
He is a rotation player. You know, you can call him a sort of a poor man's Iguodala in the sense that he can do a little bit of everything. He has guarded point guards. He's guarded centers this season. How many guys can even try that? You know, Draymond can do that. But after Draymond and Juan T, I don't know who else you're going to find. Very few guys in the NBA can guard 1 through 5. But more important, though, he also can run the offense. You can run the offense through him. He's a smart player. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So when you have a guy like that, and you know you can put him on anybody on the other team, you can guard any other position, and he can also make an occasional shot. He can get to the bucket and dunk it. So a guy like that, he's like a Swiss Army knife on the basketball court, man. He can give you a little bit of everything and do it all pretty well. So to me, the Warriors want to keep this guy around for a few years.
No doubt about that, Monty. Thanks so much for that. Enjoy tonight's game as the Warriors look to sweep the Oklahoma City Thunder, and still ahead, we'll pinpoint the plays that made Juan T a fixture in Steve Kerr's rotation. But first, let's take a closer look at former Golden State Warrior Jordan Bell, who's going to join the team next week on a 2-way deal. And since he's been a Golden State Warrior, remember the Warriors bought the pick from the Chicago Bulls in 2017. He helped them win the championship, but he's been on some sort of journey. Santa Cruz, Minnesota, Memphis, Washington, and recently the Erie Bayhawks. So we know this guy is athletic. We know he could block some shots. And this could be his last chance, Darrell, to play on an NBA team. I mean, that's how he's got to think here. So Warriors looking for reinforcements and healthy bodies. They're going to an old friend in Jordan Bell.
Yeah, I love this move. A guy that's been in the system, who understands and who's a champion. So he understands what it takes to win. So it's all up to Jordan to seize the moment. Come in here, work hard, be locked in, and help this team go far in this playoff run.
Well, there's definitely a comfort and familiarity with Jordan, too. I mean, he knows Steph's game well. He knows Draymond's game well. And, if you look at where he's been, you look at where Juan Toscano's been.
62! Stay up to date with all your Warriors coverage with Dubs Talk. Hosted by Grant Liffman and Kendra Andrews. Part of the NBC Sports Podcast Network.
All right, let's give a little credit here, courtesy of Provident Credit Union, giving credit to Raymond Townsend, the first ever Filipino-American to be drafted in the NBA, drafted number 22 overall by the Warriors in 1978, from San Jose, California, NCAA champion in 1975, also first-team All-Pac-8 member in 1978. Let's get to know Raymond a little more as the Warriors celebrate Filipino Heritage Night tonight at Chase Center.
How can you dream something if it doesn't seem possible? How can you believe it if you've never seen it?
If we don't have dreams, then what are we as a people? It sends a message all over the world that, you know what, all things are possible.
Long before the bright lights of the NBA, Raymond Townsend was a kid from San Jose who had dreams of playing on the baseball diamond rather than the baseline.
I always wanted to be a Yankee. Man, I wanted to be a Yankee at 7 years old. Basketball, I was just gifted. I mean, God gave me a great sense of quickness, but it was always baseball. And basketball, I just happened to be a very gifted player.
But for as gifted as he was at basketball, Townsend had nobody quite like him to look up to in the game.
I always pretended when I played I was a black player. I know, because there were no Filipinos, and there were no Asians. I was pretending I was JoJo White. I was pretending I was Casey Jones. I was pretending I was Pete Maravich. That's probably my idol, was Pete Maravich growing up. I never ever envisioned, an Asian player because there weren't any.
That lack of diversity was present in the Bay Area as well.
Candidly, back when I was growing up, you didn't have the influx of the Asian population. So everything basically was black, Hispanic, and white. I mean, it's just the way it was, and people didn't know what I was. A lot of people thought I was Mexican. Some people thought I was half black, half Mexican. Some people thought I was half black, half white. Nobody ever suspected or expected that I was Filipino. And there was a lot of prejudice, back in that day as there is today. I mean, there's not much different. It's just, back then people were a little bit more polite about it. Filipinos are too small. They're not big enough. They're not quick enough. They'll never succeed in basketball. I heard that even after I was an MVP, my junior and senior years.
Despite his many doubters, Raymond was a star on the hardwood and soon caught the eye of one of the greatest coaches in basketball history.
I got a call from Coach Wood and said he's going to come in and talk to me about attending UCLA. And so my mom, being Filipino, she makes, some lumpia, some pancit, she makes all this Filipino food. So Coach knocks and we're all running around, in the house. You sit here. We already pre-planned this. When Coach Wooden comes, you're sitting here. Coach is going to sit here. The minute I shook his hand, I mean, I just could tell with his presence, with all the winning, that's the guy I wanted to play for. The minute I signed at UCLA, I heard a lot of negative press. It's a school for superstars, and I'm only going to be there to sit on the bench and get my scholarship, but would never play. I heard that, and part of it was because I was Filipino.
And so Townsend was off to play for the most storied program in the nation. But his heritage remained a mystery to many who watched him compete.
My sophomore year, I had a big afro. So everybody in the whole nation thought I was black. And even if I were to tell you I was Filipino, I was black because it was a black game back in the 70s.
After 4 productive seasons with the Bruins, Townsend entered the 1978 NBA draft. As the first round neared its end, Raymond got a call from 2 very familiar franchises.
Coach Jerry West, at that time, was a GM for the LA Lakers. He called draft night and said, Raymond, we had the first pick in the second round. We're going to keep you in LA. And I was really excited. 20 minutes after, Coach Adles calls me, Raymond, this is Al Adles, Golden State. Just want to let you know we're going to take you we have the final pick in the first round. We're taking you. So we're bringing you home.
The Warriors selected Townsend with the 22nd overall pick, and in the process, made him the first Filipino player in NBA history. An achievement that went unnoticed at the time.
Nobody ever promoted anything like that. It was all black and white, so nobody ever touched. I mean, back in the 70s, you didn't hear about Hispanics, you didn't hear about Chinese, you didn't hear about Japanese, you didn't hear about Filipinos. You heard nothing but black and white players. Be a world league someday. And they start globalizing and marketing the brands and the jerseys and everything all over the world. That's when heritage became important, and that's when somebody did their homework and just said, hey, we had a Filipino. And that's when I think people started realizing that, this guy's been, he's the one who carried the torch, and it did for 38 years.
As the league began to embrace its diverse culture, they looked for ways to celebrate their many ancestries.
They wanted to put together a Filipino Heritage Night, asked me if I'd like to be a part of it. I said, definitely, I'd like to be a part of it. So we sat down and they were picking my brain, and I always had this vision that Filipino Heritage Night should be something where we don't only honor our culture, but we give a platform for a lot of young Filipino entertainers. So when I first got a chance to do that, I was very grateful. And look at now, there was only 4 or 5, 6 of them at that time. Now you got 14, 15 around the NBA.
Every year, the league welcomes new players from around the world, each with their own unique upbringing and experiences. And it's important that we showcase their extraordinary stories. Because representation matters. Opportunity matters. Visibility matters. Because it's not about the hearts and minds we change on the court. It's about the ones we change in the stands. The ones watching at home. And the dreams we create along the way.
You have little 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds who are watching you, who now want to emulate you, who now want to be like you, who now have visions that are bigger than themselves. I think it's very important that players of different ethnicities speak proudly about who they are, where they come from, their heritage, their culture, and it sends a message all over the world that, you know what, all things are possible.
What a legend. Robert Townsend, of course, UCLA Bruin, won a national championship in Wooden's final season at UCLA in 1975. What a story there, and a trendsetter, and we've seen this game grow globally over the last 20, 30 years, and he's been part of it.
Great story. It's just so crazy that, you know, like he said, it was only black and white. They didn't recognize where he came from because he's a superhero to people, you know, setting the tone and giving young kids around his country and in America an opportunity to follow his footsteps and become an NBA player as well. So that was an awesome story.
Yeah, that was powerful. And, you know, the NBA truly is global. And so it's great to see the league. The league is always ahead, in my mind, of the other leagues, just in celebrating where everyone comes from. And, you know, one of our good, wonderful family friends is Filipino, Maha Bautista. If you're out there, hi, Maha. But we really got to understand the culture and the values of the culture. And so it's great to see the Warriors celebrating the culture, and I only wish it were in person because Filipino night is so much fun.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Raymond Townsend, of course, from San Jose. So he got drafted by his hometown team. Looking at the Warriors right up the road, how cool was that? And as you said, Jennifer, out here in the Bay Area, the Filipino community, they're thick. We all have some Filipino friends out there. Shout out to all the Filipinos out there. Go enjoy this night. And I can't wait for next year when the pandemic is lifted, like you
let's
said,
get there
Jennifer.
in person.
Let's get out there in person because Filipino food, it smacks. It is cracking. Shout out to Raymond Townsend. That was a cool feature right there. Narrated by Franco Finn. And still to come, the undersized Warriors will have to play above their size to get the job done inside the paint. How do these Kent Bazemore with a bounce-back game last time out against Oklahoma City. Looney's been solid over the last 3 weeks as well. And, of course, Draymond Green's been flirting with triple-doubles left and right. So the Warriors presenting the same starting lineup here as they get ready to play Oklahoma City, a team they won against Thursday night, wire to wire. Their biggest lead in that one was a 25-point lead, so they handled their business Thursday. Let's see if they can do that again tonight. Let's bring in Kareth Burke, our Warriors reporter, powered by Cisco WebEx. And you know what, Kareth? A lot of people point to the Dallas loss. They look at the New Orleans Pelicans loss on Tuesday night. But over their last 15 games, Warriors haven't been that bad.
No, they haven't. And yeah, you can think about the blowouts they had this season, but how about what have you done for me lately? Because in the last 15 games, the Warriors have won 10 of those. In that 15-game span, Steph Curry is averaging 37 points per game. The Warriors are still number one in the league in assists, and right now they're top 5 in defensive efficiency. There's a lot of things going on right now that are looking pretty positive. This is exactly where the team wants to be heading into the postseason. And I asked Steve, do you get a sense that your guys are rounding into shape? Do you feel like they're peaking at the right time?
I like the way we're playing, Kareth. I'd love to get a couple guys back. You know, we're just we're playing well, but we're shorthanded, and I think that has cost us probably a couple games during that stretch. You know, I think we could even be better if we had a little more luck injury wise. But every team in the league is probably saying that at some level. But it would be great to get Eric and Kelly back if possible. You know, we're in a good place. We're playing well at both ends, but we're very thin. So the guys who are out there are competing like crazy and playing together and couldn't be prouder of the group, but they need some help.
Well, and help is coming, as Monty Poole reported. So for now, the Warriors are doing as best as possible, given the situation, the circumstances they're in, playing shorthanded. And what's happening is you have Steph and Draymond, who are healthy. These are the two leaders who are performing on the court. They're also going to be the leaders who usher in this team to the postseason. They have that championship pedigree. They know what it's like to go to 5 consecutive finals, to win 3 championships. And so they can help bring along the new guys or the inexperienced guys for a push this season.
You know what, Kareth? If you would have wore that Argyle sweater a little earlier in the season, you may have won an Academy Award and beat Darrell for wearing this turtleneck. You definitely would have blown me out of the water with the cardigan. But the Argyle, I like the Argyle there, Kareth.
You know, I think your cardigan is legendary. Like, might even need to be retired, Vontae. Just saying. But thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
I'll take you gassing me up any day, Kareth. The cardigan may have to come back. Jennifer Durrell. You heard Kareth Burke right there, baby. Have a good evening. We'll talk to you later, Kareth. Good stuff there as we segue here to Michael Mulder. And look, he scored 25 last time out, 1 shy of his career high, 7 3-pointers, 9 field goals there. And he is a big key to this offense and defense moving forward. Look, he's going to get minutes. He's going to get a lot of play time here, Darrell. So seize the opportunity like we just talked about with Juan T. Mulder has that same chance.
Another guy that understands his role. Another guy understands, hey, I'm getting these minutes. I got to take advantage. A knockdown shooter. He's showing us so much more athleticism, so much more that he brings to the table. So pretty happy for Michael Mulder as well.
Well, definitely, I think a lot like Juan Toscano-Anderson, the more minutes he gets, the more comfortable he is, and the more chemistry there is with him and Steph and Draymond and the entire team. Because, rewind to the beginning of the season, no training camp, nothing normal. So the Warriors have played together more and are playing more consistently.
All right, and look, Michael Mulder, Kentucky guy. He had a similar journey like Juan T. He went to school in Canada, went to Kentucky. He's been all over the G League. Now he's trying to get himself a contract. But Mulder and Poole off the bench here, especially with that Kelly Oubre Jr., the Warriors need their 10 to 15, and maybe if they could just combine 25 to 35 points a night, Jennifer, Warriors would be in good shape.
No doubt, and Mulder had a big game last game. I think OKC suits his game. I think he can have another big one tonight. And, he plays off of Steph, I think, really, really well. That takes some pressure off of Steph as well, Darrell.
I think what they do well is bring the energy. Every single night they get on the court, they're bringing the energy. And that's something we always talk about. Coaches should never have to coach effort and energy. And that's something those 3 guys bring each and every night off the bench. Either if they're scoring or if they're not, they're trying to bring some type of energy into the game.
And Lou Dort tried to bring energy the other night against the Golden State Warriors. Still ahead, we'll break down Lou Dort because he will need all the luck in the world if he hopes to slow down Steph and Curry. Steph Curry lit him up for 21 points last time out, 6 to 7 from the floor and 4 threes. What type of adjustments can OKC possibly make? But first, it is time for Comcast Every Connection Counts. The Warriors need to connect with some more second chance points that they hope to make an extended postseason run. They averaged the second fewest second chance points in the league. And you see there, Warriors at the bottom. Miami, surprisingly, at the top, at the bottom there with all the bigs that they have and the way they play so physical. Oklahoma City, no surprise there. They've won 1 game since they lost 19 to 20. But you see some of the bad teams there on that list here. So what can the Warriors do, Jennifer, to rebound better?
Well, they did a great job in the last game. So I think they need to do the same thing again. 12 to 2, second chance points. So let's just take a look at last game.
Right here, that's a great play for Steph Curry. You see Looney fall on the play and give him a little little elbow on the back, get him up out of there, Loon, I see you, and put it right back in.
Well, I think it was definitely a focus. You heard Steve Kerr talk about it, to go to the boards. And I think basket cuts put you in a better position for rebounding, too. There's Steph open, but now you have 2 guys under the basket, not just 1. And then Looney, again, just jumps over. Bad box out by OKC. Get an open look from Steph.
Yes, and it's a good way to get extra points, extra 3-pointers, second chance points. Looney right here. Well, that's Wiggs right there with the nice kick out. Extra possessions. And this is the thing, when you get offensive rebounds, the defense is in a scramble, so you don't know where your man is. Now you see your boy Moses Brown guarding Wiggs around the perimeter.
And it's also just, it's like a dagger. When you play defense for 20 seconds, the team gets an offensive rebound. Now here you've got 4 players And then Jordan Poole just makes a really athletic put back there. Just real awareness of where he was, where the ball was.
I know Chris Mullin was proud of the way the Warriors neutralized Moses Brown. He would be proud of that.
Yeah, because he's double-double. Mr. Double-Double.
In and out.
Yeah,
in and out. But no double-doubles on Thursday night. And the Warriors try to nullify him and get him on those pick and rolls as well. But how did the Warriors do better here rebounding the basketball? Do we have a demonstration there? I see you got
let me
a
just show
basketball in
you.
your hand.
You're familiar with rebounding, right?
I think so.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. A little demonstration.
Okay.
So the hardest place to rebound is right here, kind of that in near that charge circle. So what you're going to do, you're going to box out Darrell. Darrell, let me have you kind of close. Right here. We're going to go close range and then a little further out, okay? So what you want to do is Darrell approaches you, you want to check and wreck. All right, so you want to check him and then turn, but don't lose him, okay?
All right.
I
feel you,
ready?
Darrell.
I'm gonna pretend shoot here. Darrell, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
Let's go.
Ready? Box out.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Darrell, you didn't even try.
Man, he put that thing on. Most coaches say you got to put that.
Let's go, baby.
All right, now this is going to be a little bit more challenging. All right?
It's coming from a 3-point line now.
And he's coming with the Louis V too.
Sometimes instinct is you want to turn and just go get the ball, but you got to find a body. So you want to think body and then ball.
Body,
you
ball.
Got it? Okay,
Body,
so
ball.
I'm going to pretend this is shot again.
All right.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Got it. I feel him. I got you, D-Right.
Now, are you making him better? Are you competing?
No.
Are you competing?
I'm competing.
Okay.
It looked like he might lead the rec league in rebounding.
All right.
Got a little Dennis Rodman in me here, Jennifer.
All right.
My back, though, is a little hurt.
I think there's an art to rebounding, but there's also a focus.
Yes.
It has to be a team focus on the offensive end and on the defensive
So
end.
Steve Kerr said earlier in the season that the fundamentals of rebounding is just not there anymore. AAU, you coach a lot of kids, Darrell. You do a great job doing that. Do you see it at that level? Because it feels like if you're not teaching the kids at that level, when they get to the NBA, they're not going to have the fundamentals down, especially when it comes to boxing out, one of the basic principles of playing basketball.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are skipping steps when it comes to youth basketball now. They're just teaching them the fancy things, the cool things. And we all know rebounding and boxing out isn't that cool, but rebounding is all about finishing a defensive play. So I think it's super important to teach the youth how to box out, how to hold their man off like Jennifer just demonstrated, and finish the play with a rebound, because that's the only way you get a stop is you finish with a rebound.
And the Warriors need to rebound, especially being undersized. They're going to play some big teams. Like we mentioned earlier, if the season's ended today, they'd be playing the Lakers. That's a big physical team. You don't want to give up offensive rebounds to that team. It'll be a long, long night. Coming up here as I try to get some ice from my back from boxing out the road, right? Steph Curry's poised to become the fourth member of a very exclusive club. We will explain on the other side next on Warriors Pregame Live.